Hi guys, welcome back again to my tutorial. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to achieve this type of color profile and use it in your photos. So let's start. My name is Joseph Tagle, a commercial lifestyle and portraits photographer currently based here in Singapore. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you how to achieve this type of photos you can edit using your phone. If it's your first time here and you want to learn more about photography, editing, creating or improving your contents, either photos or videos, consider subscribing and hitting that bell button so you won't miss out on anything. Stay with me up to the very end of the video and I'm going to give you a summary of all the values that we use on this color style we will achieve today. For this editing tutorial, I'm going to use Adobe Photoshop Lightroom, which is a free application you can just download for iOS or Android phones. So you can just pause the video for a while, download the app, just search Adobe Photoshop Lightroom, and then once downloaded, continue playing the video and follow me as we edit this photo. Once you have downloaded the application, open your app, add the photos. So the photo we're going to edit today is more of a lifestyle portrait shoot, because last time the preset that we used was more for a urban style of photography. If you haven't watched that video, you can watch it and I'll place a link on this side of the video so you can just click and follow after watching this video. So let's start with the editing. So just open the file on your mobile. I go directly on the light adjustment. As you can see, the photo needs a little boost of exposure, so I'm going to boost the exposure to 1.60. I think 1.65 will do, and then contrast to -16, highlights -25 so that we can bring back some of the details on the highlights. Then shadows, I drag it down to -60. Okay, whites I adjust it to 7. I think 7 will do. Blacks I drag it down to -15. So as you can see, just by adjusting that, you already brighten up the photo and add a little contrast. Then we can go to curves adjustment. For the curves, I go to the overall adjustment. I just add a slight S curve on this photo. Add 3 points on the highlight, 1 on the midtones, and 1 on the shadow area. I pull down the highlight point so that you can make the photo a little bit of a dreamy feel, and then drag up a bit of the midtone point. Shadows, I drag it down a bit, and also the highlight point. So I think we're good with this. As you can see, we just created a slight S curve. Then I hit done. I go to color adjustment. For the color adjustment, temperature, I add +5 to make it a little bit warmer. Tint, I want a little green tint on the photo, so -2 will do, maybe just a little bit tint. Vibrance, I put it up to 50. Okay, and then saturation to -35. Okay, before that, coffee break. Okay, for the color mix, I adjust the red to 15, hue to 15, drag it closer to the orange part of the photo. Saturation to 20 to add a little bit saturation on the reds. Luminance to 16, make the red color brighter. Then orange, drag it to -10. Saturation to +5 and luminance to +15, making it brighter. For the yellow, I drag the hue to -100. Saturation to 40. Luminance to -40. Greens is -100. Saturation to +27. Okay, luminance to -75. Then I go to aqua. Hue is -55. Saturation -75. Luminance to -65. Blue, hue to -75. Saturation to -80. Luminance to -70. Then go to purple. +65 for hue, -15 for saturation, luminance -55. Magenta, last one, +55, +30, and luminance to -25. Then hit done. Just take note that the values I'm putting in on these photos is just a baseline number, so you can have a little bit of variance, +2 or -2 on your editing, or it's up to you. You can play with the adjustment so you can have a different effect on your photo. But for now, I will be using these values as a baseline, and then we can modify it from there. We go to effects. For effects, I want a texture of +15, adding more texture on the photo. clarity to -5, making it a little bit dreamy effect. Dehaze, +5. Vignette, maybe 10. Let's say 10, making the edge photo a little bit brighter. Feather, I'm going to drag it up to 80 to make the transition of the effect softer. And then roundness, I'm going to drag it to 5. Grain, I want to add a little grain of 15. Size, I'll reduce the size of the grains to 15. Also, making the grain that we add a little bit fine. Roughness to just 20. So we go to split toning. So this is where the magic on the color appears. This is where you will see a big difference on the color. So we go to split tone. For the highlights, I won't touch. I'm leaving it hue 0 and saturation to 0. For the shadows, I'm adding 23 on the hue. This is where the brown or peach style comes in the photo. So saturation, I'm dragging it down to 12. So 23 and 12. Then just hit done. Then after this one, details. Sharpness to 80. I want to add more sharpening on the photo because when we upload the photo on social media, there will be a small compression of the photo. So I'm adding quite a bit of sharpening on our photo. So I put sharpening to 80. Radius to 0.90 to make the radius more smaller. Detail, I add detail to 45. And the masking, I drag it up to 55. Okay, for noise reduction, I just add a little bit of noise reduction, 15. Contrast to 0, I won't touch. Color noise reduction, maybe just add a little bit noise reduction in the color, so 5. Then I leave the detail 50 and 50. I go back to the curves adjustment. Once clicking the curve, I go to the red curve line. I want to add more of the reddish color on the photo, so I'm adding the same thing. 3 points, the highlight, midtones, and also the shadow. I'm going to adjust only the shadow part. I add 1 point on the bottom part between the blacks and the shadow area. Then I just drag it up to add more red on the photo. Same with the lowest point, I drag it up also. I hit done. So after adding the reds on the photo, you will see that the image already changed. So I'm okay. So you can see the before, starting from this photo which is slightly dark that needs more editing, to this one which is bright, airy, more of the peachy kind of feel. Peach. I think we're calling this preset peach, brown, bright. What do you think would be a good name for our preset? I think we're going with Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect. Okay, so we're calling this preset Pitch Perfect. So if you want to use this on your other photo, you can just copy the settings, tick everything, settings copied, go to another photo, wait for it to load. Okay, now the photo was loaded, paste the settings. You see the photo is slightly bright. Actually, it's overexposed. But the magic on the preset is, like I told you, the values I put in are just the baseline. What you can do on this, just go to the light and just adjust the exposure and you will see that big difference already. So for this photo, I'm dragging it down maybe a certain volume, maybe 40 or 50. I'll see if I want to add a contrast. Adding more contrast will create a different look already. But I want it to be a little bit slightly soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm dragging the contrast down. Maybe, let's see, 20, -20. I'm good with this. So as you can see, we already have a preset for our lifestyle and portrait. So this is the before and after. Before, after. Before, after. I think better I'll flash it on my screen. Before, then after. Before, after. So we already have 2 edited photos with our preset, which we are going to call as Pitch Perfect. So if you want to use this color style I just did, I'll be flashing the summary of all the values I use on this side, so you can use it on your photos. So what you can do is just pause the video, copy the file, copy all the values, print screen, whatever you do to screen capture the values. Then we're done with our editing. And then lastly, after you have done the editing, hit the 3 button. So what you can do now is save it as a preset. Just hit the 3 buttons, create preset. Then I'm going to name it as, so it's going to be Pitch Perfect. I like the name. I like the name of the preset. Now what I want you to do, try the preset on your photos and show me the samples of the photo you have achieved using your own values by adjusting maybe just a bit of saturation, adding more temperature, adding more green tint on the photo, or maybe magenta tint on the photo, playing with the curves, saving your own preset, and share it with me so I can see the photos that you have just created using my preset. You can send me your samples on the email listed on the links below. Another preset done. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you won't miss out on anything. I hope to see you again next week on our next video. See you soon. But before that, coffee break. What type of our editing process did you like the most? Let me know in the comment box below. Bye. That was nice.